Hey everyone. So I have a message of encouragement for you today. Um, I went to the beach yesterday with my daughter, but the weather was just not good to snorkel. So I ended up on the beach reading a book, which is something I don't have a lot of time to do. And I have been struggling to read this little book or to get time to read this little book for the longest time. And luckily, I took it with me yesterday to the beach and I started reading. I've been trying to get through chapter one for months already, just to give you an idea. And yesterday at the beach, luckily, I finished chapter one of this little book. So this is the little book. Its author is Leighton Flowers, and it's the Protest Promise. And so far, to judge on chapter one, it's a really awesome little book. But to get to my message, so yesterday, what I read in Leighton Flowers' little book really encouraged me. It was something that really resonated with me. So in there, he talks about praying to the Lord or asking the Lord to use me or use you, or when you pray to the Lord, Lord, use me. And we do it very sincerely. We do. There's nothing really wrong with asking the Lord to use us. But if you think of it, then people using one another has a bad connotation to it, don't it? The Lord does not use us in that way. All right. Sometimes we are limited to what we know and how we understand things. And but the whole point of what he was saying is that we approach this request of the Lord to use us. We approach it with the wrong or from the wrong perspective, maybe. And we sit symbolically on a couch or wherever you sit, but you sit and you ask the Lord, well, here I am, please use me, I really want to be used. And then you don't actually get off that couch to be used by the Lord. So the Lord is not going to force us to do things, and we have to actually jump in and do this ourselves. Start that the Lord does not use people, he uses what people do. This is what I got from what Leighton Flowers was writing. This is what resonated with me, all right, is that myself been praying, Lord, use me, use me, use me, and I genuinely want to be used, but I don't always put myself out there for him to use. We sit there on the couch thinking that the Lord must magically inspire us, that we jump off the couch and feel all motivated to start doing things for him. And that is the wrong perspective. All right, so then this morning, while we were doing worship in church, this passage came up to me. And I really wanted to go forward to give this message of encouragement of this passage that came up to me, but something was just holding me back a little bit. And while our pastor was preaching, and what a wonderful sermon it was on the gospel, and I love the gospel being preached, but in any case, as he was going through his sermon, the message that I got about Lord, please use me, and the message from the passage knit so well together that I wanted to give you this encouraging message. All right. So the passage is 2 Samuel 6, and this is the section, this is the part where David is bringing the ark back to Jerusalem. And it says here in verse 13, and when those who bore the ark of the Lord had gone 6 steps, he sacrificed an ox and a fattened animal. Now, if I recall correctly, and I might be wrong about this, but the place where David was bringing the ark from was about 30 kilometers away from Jerusalem. Now, just imagine the logistics, guys, behind sacrificing to the Lord an ox and a fattened animal after every 6 steps. Imagine the logistics, all right? He has to sacrifice on an altar that is not built with human hands or tools, human tools and things like that. Imagine the firewood how much fire does it take to burn up an ox and a fattened animal? I don't know if they ate the animal or the senses that they used with the incense. I mean, just imagine the logistics. All right, this is a huge thing that happened. Right, it's not small. If you sit and think about what happened here, it's huge. All right, so um, and then verse 14 says, and David danced before the Lord with all his might. With all his might. Oh my word, David danced before the Lord. So David was dressed in a linen ephod. And that is the like a linen frock that they were using under their priestly garments. Right. Um, and he was dancing for how many kilometers? I can't imagine that this happened in one day, but okay, just thinking about logistics again. So he came into the city, all right, and his estranged wife, Michal, who was the daughter of King Saul, she was David's first wife. So she was kept away from David by King Saul, all right, and she was actually given to another man while married to. Well, I suppose that her dad divorced her or whatever happened there, but she was given to another man and she loved David. Tragic story, right? But we're going to skip that. So, as David came into the city dancing before the ark of the Lord, dancing to the Lord, and she saw him dancing for the Lord in this linen frock of his, she hated him. All right. And she said to him, look, you are just making a fool of yourself. You are dancing in your linen frock in front of your subjects. You are literally just making a fool of yourself. And she didn't see the worth of dancing before the Lord, of worshiping the Lord with all your might, the way that David was doing it. All right. But this woman is the woman that David fought for. Right? Maybe not in a romantic sense, but he demanded that his wife be returned to him when they wanted to make him king of Israel, and she was returned to him. So he fought for this woman. All right. And then she said to him, she hated him, and she said to him, you are making a fool of yourself. All right. And then he said to her, his reply was, in verse 22, I will make myself yet more contemptible than this. I will make myself yet more contemptible than this. Guys, let me tell you, 1,000 cattle on a million hills sacrificed to the Lord. The worth of that sacrifice does not compare, does not come close to the worth of Jesus Christ. The worth of that thing does not even touch the sole of Jesus Christ's sandal. It's not worth it. 1,000 cattle on a million hills. Jesus Christ is so worthy of all the honor and praise that we can give him, of all the dancing and worship that we can do before him. And even when we put ourselves out there and we start doing things for the Lord, and the world that we fight for treat us with hatred and jealousy and envy, then have this in your heart. I will make myself yet more contemptible than this. Because it's worth it. It's worth showing the world what the love of Jesus Christ is. His love for us is immeasurably beautiful. And us returning and reflecting that love back at him is it's invaluable as a testimony to who Jesus Christ is. So I want you to go out this week and I want you to do things for the Lord. And if in your resisting of of the things of this world, people hate you, then have this in your heart. I will make myself yet more contemptible than this, because Jesus is worth it. All right, guys, have an awesome week. Cheers.